Morning, everyone. Going over the fiscal cliff will hurt our economy and will hurt job creation in our country. Republicans are committed to continuing to work with the president to come to an agreement to avert the so-called fiscal cliff. It's one reason why we believe that we've put revenue on the table as long as it's accompanied by serious spending cuts to avert this crisis. We believe that this fits the president's request for a balanced approach to this issue. And we're going to continue to work with the president to try to resolve this in a way that is fair for the American people. We all know that we've had the spending crisis coming at us like a freight train, and it has to be dealt with. And in order to try to come to an agreement, Republicans are willing to put revenue on the table, but it's time for the president and Democrats to get serious about the spending problem that our country has. But I'm optimistic that we can continue to work together to avert this crisis, and sooner rather than later.
Good morning. I was heartened to see that last week the president's chief political advisor, Mr. Plouffe, indicated that Medicare and Medicaid are the main drivers of our deficit. And I know we have seen this morning also several editorial writers indicate the same, that it is important that we put these drivers of the deficit on the table and include them as part of any agreement to avoid the fiscal cliff. As the Speaker said, we have done our part. We have put revenues on the table, something that we didn't do 2 years ago during the debt ceiling negotiations. We still believe that it is most important for us to address the economic situation in this country where so many people are out of work. And that's why we take the position and believe strongly that increasing marginal rates income tax rates is not the way to produce growth and to put people back to work. But we have not seen any good faith effort on the part of this administration to talk about the real problem that we're trying to fix. I'm told that Mr. Bowles, as some of us will meet with him later today, has said earlier this morning that there's been no serious discussion by the White House on entitlements, on Medicare and Medicaid. This has to be a part of this agreement, or else we just continue to dig the hole deeper, asking folks to allow us to kick the can down the road further, and that we don't want to do.
As we continue to move to solve the fiscal cliff problem, the one thing we do want to look at is make sure small business and growth. I started my first business when I was 19 years old. Even had to build the counter in my dad's garage, a sandwich shop. When we sit across the country, listen to small business, look at growth, they are the engine that makes this economy grow. Today we'll meet with individuals in the business community. Next week we'll have a small business coalition and continue to come in and talk to us on ways that we can solve the fiscal cliff while at the same time grow this economy. This goal of this Republican majority is to solve the fiscal cliff once and for all and put us on a path to growing the economy.
We are 34 days away from what would be the largest tax increase in American history. And Speaker Boehner and the Republicans have put forward a balanced plan that would prevent that from happening and not devastate our economy at a time when our economy continues to struggle and people are having a tough time finding work. We need to take action that will ensure that small business owners all across this country continue to be able to survive. And many have said that the president's approach in raising taxes would actually devastate the economy. Ernst & Young estimated 700,000 jobs lost. A plan that would cut nearly 1 million jobs is a non-starter. So we are working to find a better way. It's a common sense way. We can raise tax revenue by simplifying the tax code, not increasing tax rates. We can address wasteful government spending without jeopardizing our core commitments in national defense and protecting our most vulnerable. And we can jumpstart our economy by assuring Americans that Congress and the President can work together to get the job done and deal courageously with the pressing problems of today. When it comes to the fiscal cliff, The president and Congress will either fail together or we will succeed together. There's nothing in between, and I am confident that we can pass the test and do what is good and right for the American people.
The president's been talking a lot about taxes lately, and as a CPA who practiced tax for years and a member of the Ways and Means Committee, there's no one who likes to talk about tax more than I do. But let's be honest, talking about taxes is not going to solve the problem that America faces. We have to turn to the spending side of the ledger. And furthermore, his tax proposal will kill about 700,000 jobs and do harm to the economy, again, the wrong direction. I think House Republicans have set a fine precedent. 4 months ago, we passed a framework to address the issue of taxes, fundamental, comprehensive tax reform, pro-growth policies that kickstart the economy rather than hurting the economy. Likewise, we have laid out a bipartisan plan to address the real drivers of our debt in the autopilot spending programs. And so I think House Republicans are eager to work and negotiate with the Democrats in the Senate and the President once they figure out what their proposal is to address the fundamental problem.
My colleagues have laid out the issues very well. Republicans want to avert the fiscal cliff in all of its entirety. What we need to do now is to have the president come forward with a plan to show how he wants to avert the fiscal cliff. We've put our plan out there. It's irresponsible of us not to deal with the spending issue and simply to push for raising taxes on hardworking American people. Many of us come from small business backgrounds, family-owned businesses, and we understand this situation very well. But it's important that we not pass this problem along to our children and grandchildren, but that we deal with it in a responsible way. And the Republicans have come forward with a responsible plan and will continue to do that and look for ways to keep us from going over this fiscal cliff.